What's up, my people?
Hey.
Welcome to the Restoring the Breach podcast. I'm your host, Greg.
And I'm Cachet.
Where we specialize in unlocking the leader inside of you. Ooh, it's been a long time.
It has been.
Definitely been on hiatus. But we're excited because we're launching a new mini-series called Let's Talk with the Colemans.
Mm-hmm. Let's Talk with the Colemans is exciting to us because this one is more personal. Mm-hmm. It is unscripted. And we go deeper in conversation.
Indeed.
Yeah. Do you feel like we went deeper than we have ever
Absolutely.
gone before?
About everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Even just everyday things.
Yeah.
So sit back.
Relax and enjoy this episode.
Yo.
Hey.
Business. Again.
Hey.
Back for night 3.
Back for night 3. And then. Hey.
Let's talk with Greg and Cachet. Just busting it up. Discussing the day.
Did you needed to make sure you gave her a proper intro?
No. That's just to lay the groundwork for what we do.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the weekend because we skipped a day now.
Mm-hmm.
How was your day yesterday when I was with you? What was your take on the day?
Oh, the first half of the day was a lot of running around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're preparing for this boy's 5th birthday.
Yeah.
So, a busy one.
Yep.
Exhausting because anybody that has any level of children that you have to shop for a whole household is exhausting.
Yeah.
A whole marathon is what it feels like, especially if you're going to Sam's Club.
And the meat store. Yeah, the meat store is for grown folks. Yeah. I feel like I was trying to tell Julie today, like the meat store is like a grown-up store.
It is because the bacon tastes different.
Yeah, the sausage.
All the wings taste fresh.
You don't. Well, I just feel like the meat store is for the big dogs.
It is.
That's like your grandma and them that had the deep freezer.
Yeah.
You know, my grandma had like 4 of them dips in the freezer. Like on my dad's side, Pap still got like 3 deep freezers. I'm like, bro,
you ain't got no meat in there. What you doing?
He probably do have meat, but for what? What he doing?
I ain't doing. I mean, that's meat that been in there since Graham was around.
Oh no.
Or he ain't cooking.
Or maybe he's
meat.
filling it up with fish. I don't know.
Well, you know how it is.
What?
You already know how it is when it comes down to it. The old heads always pull something out the deep freezer.
True.
For an upcoming event.
It probably is fish or something. No, my granddad.
Yeah, you put that on. You got that on Do Not Disturb.
Don't.
Turn your volume down.
Greg Coleman, this is my phone.
I know.
It's my life.
That's why we need somebody.
Don't you forget it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyway, went on a hot date because dating's important.
That was the second half of the day.
Day. Mm-hmm. We were so we ran around all day yesterday, today too. But yesterday we ran around all day. I think it's because we got a late start anyway. Because it's really hard to get out the house. I was going to share a GIF. I was thinking about this earlier. That
it's a GIF.
GIF.
I hate that pronunciation.
I don't know. GIF, whatever.
Yeah.
I was going to share it because my thought was, I was thinking about how, you know how like when you're trying to like get out of a place, but you got to like push. I was thinking about like how I was imagining hands coming out the door and like you trying to push the people in and like close the door real quick. There was like a cartoon or something where it was like monsters or something. It might have been like Adam Family or something, and they were trying to like. That's what it feels like all the time leaving. Every time we think about leaving or we talk about it and we're like, good, we're going to leave now. It takes like 2 more hours and it's usually lunchtime before we go. And so then you got to do the whole lunch thing. Then you got to do the whole lay down the youngest one thing.
I hope anybody watching that don't have kids watching our our tales don't dread of what to come. We just paint the picture of what reality is.
I mean, it's real. I mean, it might not sound that bad, but it is quite exasperating. And we had to leave. So we did all that. And so good thing I was cute all day because there wasn't a lot of time or energy to get re-cute to go on a date. It was like, let's just go.
Well,
So
you cute all the time. Man.
well, you know, there's a special cute for a date night. But Julie said that I looked like I was going on date night anyway when we was leaving.
For the meat market.
Yeah, she was like,
Yeah.
Mama, you look like you about to go on a date right now. And I was like, oh, thanks. It was a cute outfit. I've been saving them shorts for nothing because I'd be saving clothes for no reason. But then
they came in handy though.
it be coming in handy. So
Came in handy.
So anyway,
But that was an eventful night, and it also shows how you make a plan, and the plan
doesn't
don't
quite
always
go the way
we thought. We was being free and grown, parking our car at the Charlie station.
Yep.
And riding into town.
That was cute.
It was
You see
cute.
it in the movies. You see it on like stuff like Love Jones.
Just walking in the rain
But umbrellas
without getting wet. Yeah, but then ain't no clouds over top of you.
You know the music I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's Love Jones.
I know.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure you knew.
I know it.
I don't know because you be playing me with my musical sounds.
Here we go.
Anyway, the point is
Shots. This is what we talking
there
about.
ain't no shots.
Okay.
It's just real. You do be playing me about my musical sound. So anyway, and it was cool until we hit a series of unfortunate events. It wasn't too bad though. It really wasn't.
Well, we get to the restaurant that we know.
Yeah.
It specializes in burgers and shakes. And as we conclude our meal, they ain't got no shakes.
They ain't got no shakes.
An hour and a half before they're supposed to close.
Talking about we closing down the kitchen early.
Because we got slammed from the Ed Sheeran concert.
I was supposed to beep that out. Do it again. Say it again.
Oh, Ed Sheeran concert. I'm going to call him out. Beautiful songs, though. That's beautiful music. But,
I found love.
Yeah.
For me. That's the only words I know. Hold on. Dancing in the dark. You between my arms.
That's the right words.
Hold on, I got the next one. Listening to my favorite song.
Okay.
Let me just skip it to a song I know. What's the other song?
I don't even know. I don't know.
That's Jonathan McReynolds.
You gotta have that ready.
Hold on. There's another one that I really like too. And we missed it too. Oh! When your legs don't work like they used to before. That's my jam. Don't you? Well,
you learn them words
loving
too.
You.
That's black people. We talk about what's our track and on the.
Be quiet.
Oh, that's my song.
Wait. 17. Boy, be quiet. You messing up my flow. 23.
And the wild part is what the song is
People
titled.
fall in love in mysterious ways.
What would you say the song's called?
Hold on. Maybe this is what you had. Me, I'm loving you. Hey. Baby, now. Take me into your loving arms. Kiss my lips for the lady 1,000 stars.
No. Okay. I'll wait till you get to the bridge.
Maybe we found love right. Come on, Greg. You know that line.
You should do that in the beginning. I'd have rode with you. Now we about 2 verses and a sonnet into the track.
Did you say sonnet?
I moved on. But
anyway. Yeah, it was a cool date.
Mm-hmm.
Dates are important. And so we couldn't find no milkshakes nowhere because Pittsburgh is whack and they be closing down early, at least the delicious places, except for the places that the others go and they be just drinking and bar hopping. Mm-hmm. And so we ended up at Sheetz with cookies and
Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and Jerry's, and it worked. And then I passed out. I was like, yeah, let's watch Lincoln Look. Are we supposed to not be saying names? Beep it out when I say it.
Oh, sorry. I think
let's watch. You didn't beep it out.
I'll put the sound effect in when we'll do that. The post.
Anyways, so I said it, and I really was motivated, but the sleep didn't cut me. Mm-hmm. It was like the Sandman came in like.
It was exhausting. The commute was tiring.
We got caught in the concert. Yeah. It looked like roaches in the projects. I was like, oh, they were coming in droves just from everywhere. And then as we're turning towards the T station, I hear somebody say, don't go to the T station line. We are stuck.
Oh, you heard somebody say that?
Yeah.
I mean, what choice did we have?
Shoulder to shoulder.
We had to get on the T.
We did.
And if we didn't get on where we got on, we wouldn't have had a spot where we did, even though it was like sardines getting shoved into the...
It was.
The trolley.
Somebody put a whole arm on my back.
They pushed me until I turned around and was like, hey, yo.
And they were like, oh.
Yeah, we're going to get on. You know? Then you're the angry black guy, but it is what it is. Sometimes you got to turn that on. Just the type of society.
Greg do get a little bit. He gets... Yeah. I'm breaking the third wall. Greg Coleman could get real, like, colored around...
Real what?
Colored.
Oh my! I'm gonna have to bleep that out. That's
around like when he's around rude people and stuff. It's
I ain't
actually
colored.
quite
Don't
funny.
Call me colored. What's that?
So you're white? You're mixed. It actually is quite funny because of his like. You're like third removed mixed.
I'm not mixed.
Yes, you are.
We need to look up the definition of what mulatto is?
Your great grandfather.
If it came down to percentage wise, we're all mixed unless you can trace a lineage
we
directly
already
to the
can
continent.
Trace yours.
Hey, we're 4 generations back.
It
that don't make me
matter.
mixed. Mulatto is mother and father biracial.
No. Your great
You sound like my brother
was
now.
A straight up white.
You sound like my brother. Our kids are biracial. No, they're not. They're not biracial.
They're second removed or 2.
That doesn't.
I don't know how to say it.
I mean, I guess technically you could say you could fill in the circle on the chart on the census that you're biracial, but you're
like triracial then.
Biracial means 2 races.
I know.
So if my mother and father are not
I don't know what
one
your mom
and one,
is. I don't know what your mom is.
Did you say you don't know what my mom is? Oh, she's absolutely watching this. I'm just sending her the link.
Oh. Anyway, it's actually your dad's side that has the mixtures.
Yes, it is. So I don't know
we should know because your great grandma.
Mm-hmm.
She was pale.
Yeah, she was red bone.
Super red.
She was, but it wasn't.
Because her dad or her husband or her.
No, it was her father.
Her dad. He was
Caucasian.
Yeah, so that makes you like 7, removed a couple times, yeah. But clearly.
So directly. As far as I'm concerned, I'm close to the continent.
Well, blah blah blah. I want to beep it out again. I'm beeping out.
But I could trace it.
You got told.
We're not gonna get into Cachet's 23andMe. We don't know where yours goes.
Listen, it's true. Look at you trying to be rude. I'm proud of you.
Falling off the deep end.
I'm proud.
I gotta defend myself.
You're being rude.
See, this is what we talking about in the last one. How she bust shots and then try to make it in a picture like she's the innocent bystander.
I'm so proud.
No, ain't none of that.
Let me.
I got this. You already know what it is.
Proud of you.
Get your elbow out there before you hit the microphone.
Anyway,
back to the date. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was cool.
It still ended nice. It was a little bit hectic, but in all of this shows, and we talk about it all the time on the dates, how we just enjoy each other's time. And I think there's a lot of couples that don't really understand and appreciate the quality time.
Yeah.
And how it doesn't even when things don't go as you plan.
Yeah.
You can still appreciate the time if it's just you and her.
Yeah.
Or
him.
You and him.
Just the other way.
You know what I mean? That's what it's about.
I know it was almost like two.
We enjoy going to the mall and people watching.
Yeah, that was funny. That's always funny.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So, But every time we go to the mall, I be feeling like I'm dragging you around.
Because you do.
Because I'm going to the store, you just...
That's.
And I'm like, oh, let's go over here. He's like...
I don't think that tells anything
like,
different
let's go over here.
And then y'all don't live truthful lives at the mall.
What are you
because,
talking about?
I mean, I don't know how many stores we went into today where we went in there for a specific thing. One, for example, I guess I'm not going to call out the name. I don't think there's a problem with calling out the store's name. But we went in there for specific things for the kids. And what's the first thing you said when we went in there and grabbed the cart?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just going to look real quick for some white jeans. That was not discussed. It was not a part of the discussion. It wasn't even discussed. As soon as we got at the top of the escalator and walked through the door, I was like, okay. But see, this is where experience in relationship teaches you as the man just, okay.
Don't do that.
Because that's what y'all do. And it is what it is.
Don't do that.
But
we had a conversation. I said I was looking for some white jeans, possibly for the shirt for the triple date.
When did you say the white jeans?
I said that.
You said that before we went to the store?
Yeah.
Oh, so now I just don't listen.
Break.
Okay.
How dudes don't be listening. Because I clearly said it.
No.
Because then anything else I picked up. I thought you said you was looking for some red white jeans.
Wall break again. This is how women know how to flip the script on us. Y'all be out here flipping the script. I don't even want to hear it. Ain't no walls down here. That's how we represent restoring the breach.
Whatever.
We said we're repairing the walls. We knocking them down.
Look, I don't
That's what y'all do.
Don't do that.
But we did a lot of shopping.
We did. It was for good cause.
Yeah, we got some stuff.
We got 5 kids that's going into school.
Preparing for that.
Yeah.
And the summer has been floating.
I don't want. That's too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already. But you gotta start ahead, and then of course all the sales are right now. Like, It's like, don't you know I'm planning a party? Quit making pants $3, cause now I need these pants too.
It's their fault. We need the $3 pants though. That ain't a bad.
We do, but I don't need the $3 pants right now.
No, we need the $3 pants right now.
No, we do, but
because we wait, like you said earlier. Everybody's coming to get them.
Sure.
So. But nobody told us to have all these kids either, where we got consecutive birthdays. Did you put that on?
I did.
I said before we hit play, put it on Do Not Disturb. That's what I'm talking about.
I listen to
and then it went off the first time, and I pointed real quick. You still didn't do it.
What's the thing about being? What do we say about being grown? I'm trying to recall.
Thank God this is Let's Talk. We just busting it up.
Anyway,
this is the
because I feel like I'm grown.
Okay, what they got to do with?
I'm allowed to do what
disrupting the professionalism of the recording.
I will do what I want to do.
So everything's a jingle, even disrespect.
Even disrespect. I don't. For some reason, I'm struggling today. Why can't I?
What, turning your Do Not Disturb on?
Yeah.
What, turning the volume down?
I did turn the volume down.
Okay. There's your Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, but look at it until I turn. Okay.
Until I turn it off.
Well, but then I'll forget, and then tomorrow it'll still be able to Do Not Disturb. You
turn on Do Not Disturb at night when we go to bed?
No, it's an automatic thing. I have it set.
Okay.
I have it set.
Oh, you got it set for except for alarms?
Yeah, or like phone calls.
Okay.
Or something.
All right, well, you should be good because my calls still go through to the Do Not Disturb.
I think because you're on my favorites. It might be except my favorites.
It is.
I'm about to unfavorite you.
Oh, okay. All right.
Anyway, it was all good yesterday. Then today was another day of running. A good thing. Okay, so I have this thing in mind, and I want the kids. I was thinking about how they ain't gonna know how to cook if I don't teach them.
No, this was a dope.
It was real
teachable
intense.
moment for mommy.
So today was a day of cooking also.
Let's preface before you go into this. You're a dope mom.
Oh, thanks.
I tell you this all the time, but I guess it's a really, it's the appropriate time.
Chef these niggas though. It was intense. But it's all good. It's all good. So I was like, if I don't teach them how to cook, like I want the big kitchen and the space. But they gotta learn how to cook now. And so when I started seeing how good Juliana was like flipping them little grilled cheese, I said I need to call her in more often. She picked that up pretty quick, And so I've been calling her in every day. And then now I decided that I would do. I still haven't figured out exactly how. Will I do everybody? Because today was intense.
That was chaotic.
Woo-hoo. Or will I do like somebody every day? Because there's 5 of them: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Well, I saw you trying,
you know,
and I didn't have as much patience, and you were the one I was ready to kick everybody.
He's like, get out of here!
Yeah.
No shirt. I was like, no, it's okay. So then they kept going. Mommy said it's okay, because everybody would freak out.
Yeah.
And so I had to get my because I was trying to calm myself down too.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I sometimes don't like feeling like anybody's in my way. Mm-hmm. And so they have to learn how to cook. They have to learn how to do that stuff. So I'm like, it's okay. So they would do stuff and I would say, it's okay. And then they would say when somebody made a mistake, it's okay, which was funny. And so we made a lot of things from scratch. Everything turned out amazing.
Let's run that menu down. What do
we had a whole chicken. We did it in a crock pot.
Homemade.
Yep. Me and Julie made a turkey. Me and Julie made a so there's a thing called turkey butter, but you can put on your chicken too, where you do all your seasonings in the butter and then you rub it all over the chicken and under it and inside it. And so we did a turkey butter. We did that and did that over the on top of the chicken. And then we made some red skin mashed potatoes.
Mm-hmm. Nothing like them red skins.
That is the best homemade.
Yeah.
Ever. I don't know why people be waiting to make mashed potatoes till holidays, because it's such an easy thing to do.
Why they don't make them all year round?
Yeah, that's an all year round side dish to me. It's not like you don't gotta have the flake mashed potatoes. It's real easy to do. Anyway, whatever. We made gravy from scratch. Made cornbread from scratch. Even though I had a little jiffy in the closet if I wanted to have it. Mm-hmm. But I wanted get the flour, get the yellow cornmeal, get the baking powder. That's what I wanted. So we made that. That was good. And then we did some green beans. So I was calling them in, showing them how to test everything out. And all of that. Then threw some cranberry sauce on the side because Gregory
has been requesting it forever.
He keeps picking them up, and I always for a while I was just buying extra because he liked it so much to throw it on the side of something on a Sunday to make it feel special. Like, ooh, Thanksgiving. They love cranberry sauce. So today was the day. Mm-hmm. They ate it all the food.
I don't know why. I was never a big fan of cranberry sauce.
Oh.
Maybe it's the texture.
Could be. Juliana is weird with texture.
Yeah.
She's weird with texture. So
it's that gelatin, because I don't like Jell-O.
You don't like Jell-O.
So that's probably what it is.
I remember back in the day, my dad was like, do you know that that's cow bones? We was at Ponderosa. That's how you did how long ago it was. And we loved us some Jell-O, right? Mm-hmm. And we was like, cow bones? He's like, yeah. So every time we bit it, he moo.
Where do you get that from?
Moo. I don't know, because there wasn't no Google like that back then.
Cow bones.
I don't know. He said
it
was either cow bones
shamefully,
or
I'm going to Google this.
He said it was something. It was cow bones or whale blubber, something.
Whale blubber.
Whatever it was, he was making. I think he said cow bones. He said something because he was mooing, and it grossed us out temporarily, but we was fine. That is something that I have to get through with cooking with them, especially the pickier ones, because I'm always nervous. Like, is this whole chicken going to freak you out? Because Juliana kept going, oh, about the chicken, like, oh, this was a chicken.
This girl about to become a vegan because she's in the kitchen watching it be prepared.
Oh, and I was just like, girl, it tastes good. It's okay. God made these animals. You can eat them, or you could be. But I said, if you don't want to eat them, it's fine. But God made them so we can eat them. So, but what if the chicken was our chicken, and then said the chicken, you'll see the chicken in heaven. Okay?
If we had a farm, we'd be wringing that chicken's neck.
Yeah, she was like, how did they like take the feathers off? Like, she was getting, and she kept going on, and I just kept trying to blow it off, and I was like, I really hope that this don't like make her, because she already is picky anyway. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I hope it doesn't make her like be freaked out. But I just was like, I want to be able to come to your house one day because you can cook. Mm-hmm. I would love my sons to be able to be like, man, I know how to make cornbread from scratch. Mm-hmm. I got you. Like, it would be nice that our children could cook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I just was like, that would be great. And I was like, how what they call them? Get a res or whatever? That's the stupidest.
You got res.
That's dumb. It's stupid. I don't know. I don't like none of the new words. They don't make no sense. Anyway, yeah, you got reds.
I hope they're not adults saying that to their spouses. I got res. I got that cornbread for you. I'll make that cornbread. Is that what you were talking about?
I told them that that's how they can get a girl. So you want to pull
Oh,
a
so
lady?
when they want to have Riz when they become. I don't even
know.
like saying the word.
It sounds
it's so
stupid.
corny.
Anyway, we sound old.
Yeah.
But I told them, I was like, I just feel like, boys should. There's men chefs in the world.
Absolutely.
A lot of them. So I just feel like that they should be able to cook too. I don't want it to just be like her. But I was like, if can't nobody cook, you're gonna be able to cook, especially because of how much she likes domestic type roles. She likes roles like that anyway. Mm-hmm. So she was like, I guess y'all don't want to learn then. She was, because they was all talking. Mm-hmm. She was like, I can't hear what mommy's saying. I guess y'all don't want to learn then. And so she likes it. I wouldn't force her, but I do want her to be able to know how to cook.
Yeah.
For herself. It's a life skill. So
we talk about that all the time. We're not just raising children, we're raising young people who are going to one day become adults. So we want them to have how to cook. Basic life skills.
Don't be out here
wash your behind and clean your house.
Yeah, wash your butt, clean your house, know how to make some food so you ain't got to eat McDonald's and Burger King all day.
Yep. Have some etiquette.
Yeah.
All those types of things.
And sometimes it feel like that they ain't getting it, but then sometimes even the old one be interested. Like when I was like, y'all want to learn how to make gravy? Because I'm like, it's actually not difficult, but you don't, if you could, because the thing is, you can taste the difference to me.
Yeah, you can.
You can taste the difference with lots of things.
We see that with everything.
With everything.
When you start tasting stuff from scratch,
yeah,
compared to the frozen and bagged and boxed and canned stuff, like, it's not in your head that there's preservatives in this. Yeah. Like, there's something in this that I taste the can. Why does it taste like cardboard?
Yeah.
Why do I taste like I taste the box?
You might not know. And for people who prefer that, more power to them.
But that's why I said, once you experience something different, it's hard to go back.
Yeah. That's been your experience.
Here you go. I knew it.
All right, I'm done. I ain't saying nothing else. I'm done. I took it out. So anyway,
oh my God.
Greg was really picky when I got with him. He was really picky. But some stuff is just because I think that I've watched you be like, you like it, but you don't want to like it. Like Nutella. In your head, you're like, it ain't chocolate. Mm-hmm. So I don't like it. Yeah. Right?
It's a nut. Don't give me no walnut.
But it's not first of all, it's not. And it has and it has cocoa.
Yeah.
It's made with cocoa. So you didn't want to like it. And so I was like, just taste it on this pretzel. And he was like, no.
First off, don't make me look like a bratty child.
That's what you did. That's what you do.
No,
you said
for some things that I don't want to be the science project. There's some things it's like, this is my preference.
But you don't. But the thing is, some stuff you ain't tasted since you was like 6. So you have no idea.
But the better way.
No.
The better way.
You said no.
The better way.
So I dipped the pretzel
for me to adjust to the change.
Is what? Because you ain't gonna choose it on your own.
Well, present it, but it don't have to be like.
No.
I'm thinking about it. I don't know if there's really a way around
exactly. It. I have to be like.
You don't have to. No, you don't.
So no, you don't. I had you. So you tasted it, and you was like, Mm-hmm. And I recognized that Greg don't want to like this, but he likes it.
Nutella's a good example of something. But there are other things that I know I just don't like. I'll never like the flavor of pickles. I don't like the flavor of pickles.
Okay, but that's.
I'm using that as an example. Like, there's certain things
I know that
even from childhood I don't like.
Even I know that though. Mm-hmm. So I don't really push it with stuff like that. But if you start seeming like you might like something, or you like something similar to it, I'm like, just taste it. You actually might like it because you decided from when you were 6 years old you didn't like stuff, and then you was like, I don't like it, and I'd be like, when the last time you had it though? Like, I don't know, but I just know I don't like it, and I'm just like. But when's the last time? Because I have a problem with, like, people not experiencing their best life. I feel like there's so many great things in the world that for some reason it really bothers me when people aren't, like, open to trying to enjoy certain
but
things.
how you know what you don't like?
Huh?
How do you know what you don't like since there are things you didn't like since childhood?
Well, everything I had was generally good. I did. I already told you that.
When the last time you had chitlins?
Well, I didn't eat that. I
So
never ate it.
How you know the chitlins is nasty?
I can't get past the smell of that.
But you ain't never taste them.
But I know there's dookie in those. That's different.
That's true.
That's different than I never did like sweet potato pie. It's like
true. So but there are things. There ain't nothing that you didn't have since childhood that you still say to this day you don't like, but you haven't had it recently. That was my argument with your basis on that.
No, because a lot of the things in my childhood that I had, I really did actually like.
So you just eat everything.
Yeah, because I had bomb cooks on both sides.
All right.
And so because of that, my grandma made chitlins once, and I was like, "What is that putrid smell?"
You like olives?
No, I don't like olives.
When's the last time you had an
I
olive?
tasted an olive in a thing my friend made, a quiche, a couple years ago.
Olive
remember?
in a quiche?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A couple years ago, I tried it, and I didn't like it still.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel. Like,
but that's comparable with a pickle, and I did taste it.
Yeah.
Because your taste buds change. When I was younger, I didn't really care for like onions like that.
Yeah, but how fair is it to have me, with my memory, recall the last time? You be like, when the last time you had it? I could have had something over the last few years.
Because your personality is like, I don't like it because I don't like it.
That's not.
Yes, it is.
Sometimes.
Yes, it is. It's like Julie as a grown big old baby man.
You got a little basis of that.
So then you taste it and you went, that's how I got you on ranch. When we first got together, you was like, I don't like ranch.
Mm-hmm. Was it the buffalo chicken dip?
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't it?
No, I said it's like French onion dip because you really liked French onion dip.
Wasn't that brought up because I saw you making the buffalo chicken dip?
No,
you was putting the ranch in stuff.
No, we were talking about you. When I saw that you ate French onion dip, I said you should try ranch. You was like,
I do remember that.
You was like,
yeah,
I don't like ranch. I said, but you should taste it though.
Yeah,
it's like French onion dip. And he was like, really? I said, yes. You tasted it? He's a ranch man now.
Yeah.
Hot sauce ranch, was a pregnancy.
Blue cheese.
Blue cheese is new for both of us.
Yeah.
We had that during a fast when it was a fast where they let us kind of like eat because we had took to a restaurant while we was fasting and the man didn't know we was fasting and they said we could eat but only salad and we ended up with blue cheese salad.
Nobody's gonna follow what you just said. That is, golly.
Greg.
Golly. We were on a fast.
I just said it all.
We weren't allowed to eat anything, but we happened to go to an event
where the man took us out to eat. Everybody was like,
you know what? We're on an event.
No, that's not it. That's not. It was no everybody.
No, we were there.
We were there. The man didn't know we were fasting. Who took us to the event?
Yeah.
So he was like, "I'm gonna take y'all all out."
I remember it was that ministry.
Yeah, and he said he's gonna take us all out, but we're fasting, so we don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. So we all looking at the HN. We're like, what we should do? And he was like, all right, you could eat, but only like it was only certain things we could have. That was so we all ended up having a salad, and we all had blue cheese. Mm-hmm. We had blue cheese on our salad, and we was like, oh. Mm-hmm. And after that, we was hooked.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Anyways, it makes me think. I was thinking about our conversation that you were saying while we were on our date. When you were saying that there was a guy, you had read his post that said he didn't experience church hurt. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about and how he couldn't conceptualize
what church hurt was,
what it was.
He never experienced it, yeah.
And I was thinking about what that could be, because I feel like that church hurt can come in lots of different ways. Because when I was younger, my perception of church hurt was like, it was like somebody said something mean to you and now you're done. And I always thought that was such a small, I mean, I'm on the other end of it now, like of that. But I always thought that was so small. And then you see different posts like, people hurt your feelings at the club all the time, but you don't stop going. People hurt you at your job and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't all bad. And just posts like that. And now I have a different point of view. And I just feel like when it comes to things like that the victims are often like treated as if they aren't victims.
Yeah, the onus is on the victim to accept to overcome the abuse that they may have faced. When in any other situation, you don't have a conversation with somebody who's abused. It may seem like an extreme example, but the reality is, if you're on the tail end of mistreatment or offense, and somebody is telling you that you just need to get over the offense, not actually addressing why you might be offended or hurt.
I know your husband was beating you down.
Yeah.
But it wasn't all bad.
Yeah, it's not the victim's role to change.
You know, not that the next person should have to continually apologize for what happened with the last relationship or wherever you are. But I believe that it should be at least addressed once. If I know, for instance, you came from an abusive relationship, let's put it in a place of relationship, but I want to pursue you in a relationship. Now, for that probably needs to be talked about more than once, because there'll be levels of trauma that the person will be going through that you have to, if you want to be with them, you may have to help them through to say, hey, I'm sorry that you were abused. That's not what I'm trying to do to you. And, you know, I'm going to show you that I'm not an abuser. But there's a work that comes with that. And I can see how people can get tired of feeling like they have to apologize for other church hurt, but it doesn't matter. If I was abused and then the next person I'm in a relationship with wants to be with me or wants to let me know that all men aren't abusers, he would have to in some way show me, not like prove to me, but he would have to in some ways show me that all men aren't abusers by the way he treated me.
What's the key word there? Restore. And that is the part that some people fail to understand or run away with, is being a part of the restoration process.
Yeah.
You know, what you're saying is very key. The first thing that I think of as a counter to the argument that people say, don't blame your church, you know what I mean, is, wouldn't it be a better strategy as those who may not have been responsible for causing that hurt, or even if you were, to say, I apologize on behalf of the church. What can we do to help build that? Like, what, you know, let's try to work on that. Let's address it. Like you saying that there should be at least one conversation about that, rather than saying let's stop talking about it. You close the door of being able to.
It's like racism.
And that we can tie that right into it. Close the door for reconciliation. If you use racism as an example,
they don't want to hear about it no more.
With the Black Lives Matter movement, whether you agree with the term or not, for so many generations, the conversation from the African American community has been, we will not see significant change and transformation in this nation until we, as a collective, not just the black community trying to prove a point to everybody else, but the white community, which I address as the majority, and which for many, many years have been in position of power and influence and controlling resources, step up and say, okay, we played a role, whether me personally or my predecessors played a role in messing up the life and the ability of another community to create generational wealth and success. So let's not only address that, but let's find a way to work and heal and restore, to bridge the relationship.
They over here trying to go backwards now.
Man.
They taking out stuff left and right that was stuff that was supposed to help with minorities. Left and right.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But then be like, get over it, it's old. It's like, but you're still doing it.
Well, that just shows that there is a remnant, a residue of the cancer that is a part of the DNA of this nation. And that is not an indictment on anybody that served and supported and fought for this country. That's a necessity to defend, but it doesn't take away the fact that there may be sickness in the camp.
Yeah. Look at whenever if we use a medical term like cancer, even if they say a little bit of it, they're trying to figure out how they can wipe it all out.
Because what happens if you don't
Because a little bit
it?
of it spreads and becomes a big bit of it.
What's that medical term? Metastasizes? Metastasize.
Yes.
Yeah. She has a medical background, so.
But that's real though.
Yeah.
But you can't say that, because in everything that people try to do to say, hey, I want to just point this out, you get this group of people that's like, we don't want to talk about it no more. Matter of fact, we don't want to talk about Black History no more. Matter of fact, we don't want y'all to do no, you ain't on our flag. Matter of fact, and it just goes on, and it's like y'all don't recognize that either you're the cancer or you're spreading it, and you don't recognize it.
That's the same for the church hurt conversation.
Yep.
If we want, and we're seeing such beautiful examples of this all throughout the world right now, of people who are saying, you know what, we're not approaching church the same way it's been done in the past.
Yeah.
We ourselves are a product, or we're seeing in the community or demographic that we're targeting, that the common narrative is that we don't want anything to do with the church as an organization.
Yeah.
And so our approach has to be, how can we be welcoming, not compromising, but let's take a different approach.
Yeah.
If what we're doing for so many generations doesn't connect with this demographic, if we're dealing with an unchurched generation
who
that
doesn't even know,
they don't understand what worship is. They don't understand what intercession is. They don't understand who the Holy Spirit is. They don't understand all that etiquette. They're going, if we're truly saying come as you are, then how can we create an environment where you feel welcome?
Yeah, don't say come as you are, then be following them around with laptops and
down to, I mean, for real, man, down to we talked about this. There's certain things like, you know, if people are going to look for things just the same way you shop, the same way you look for where to buy a home.
Yeah.
What do you look for when you buy a house?
A nice area. Depending on what area do you want to be in. If you have kids, you look at a good school district. You know, if you like it to be in a suburban area, do you want it to be more in the city?
Yeah.
Is there transportation if you don't have a car? Do you need a car? Like, there's a lot of stuff.
If my household has pipelines to different things, I need to make sure that these pipes can connect to those things. If you got the wrong connections, then I can't connect with you. My kids, what do my kids need? Do I have a pipeline that connects with what I want for my children? So if we're talking about a church, if I got a bunch of kids and you have nothing for my children, or I come and I'm distracted because you don't have the resources, I'm not coming.
Yeah.
Whether you want
to
accept it or not, I can't come week in and week out, and I got small children here.
Nothing for them.
Y'all have 4 or 5 hour long services. They got to sit still. It's through nap time.
Oh Lord.
Then you condemn because now we got this old mindset of don't eat in the sanctuary, don't bring no tablets, don't, none of those things. So what this child doesn't understand this environment.
Yeah.
And if I'm unchurched, I don't understand this environment. And you telling me to just accept it.
And you tell me maybe, depending on the community, to beat my children over and over again.
And then beat them. And then you tell them that beat them into correction.
And it's like,
come on, man.
They're hungry and sleepy.
Yeah.
There's nothing for them to do. Their attention span is 8 minutes, and we've been here for 4 hours.
If we weren't here on a Sunday at noon, I'm laying them down for a nap.
Yeah.
That don't change because it's Sunday.
They would be eating and they be having a nap.
Yeah.
So either we're going to accept a sandwich right here.
Yep. Or give me a place where I can send them where their mind can be occupied.
And it provides some kind of snack.
Come on. So just you want to be able to provide things. And that's the beautiful thing we're seeing about a lot of ministries right now, that they're literally like painting a picture of their demographic.
Yeah. Narrowing
it down, like their demographic, they're creating a picture of a person, which I've never seen before.
Yeah.
We come up where it's like, where's the church at? And then what's the surrounding area?
Yeah.
And how can we find a way to get some tracks?
Yeah.
Or to create inside programming.
Yeah.
Go out and put some flyers out and invite them to come.
Yeah.
But being strategic.
Saying this is who I'm looking. This is who my target audience is. This is where my ministry is. I think that reminds me of in the Bible where it just says, like, if you're a teacher, teach. If you're this. If you're that. Like, us learning and knowing the space that God has called us into. It doesn't mean that other people aren't welcome, but we know if I'm a kindergarten teacher and I have always been great with just kids around that age, I know that my strong suit is around kids around that age. So I know that's probably what I'm going to be doing in ministry. So don't put me with the seasoned saints because that's not my strong suit. My strong suit is the kindergartners. And if we learn, and as we've seen, as the places are learning to do that, like it's like if we believe that God gave everybody different talents, we have to let the talents be what they are. But the thing that I heard more recently that was so great, and it's true, all these years you hear your gift will make room for you, your gift will make room for you. And I don't think I ever looked at it in the way that I saw it more recently about how
So give the traditional mindset of what that described down to what you look at it now.
So the way do you want to just hear like the way I always the way I assume your gift will make room for you is that there'll be a space found for you or something. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Like I can squeeze something I'm good in into a space of something, versus your gifting creating a space that may not look at all like anything that's here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I always took it like, and not even in the building of the building of the church, but like outside. The point is that my gift will make room for me where I'm supposed to be in life.
So your gift will
that is not necessarily yes, it'll create opportunity, because the thing that I read after that was that it said, and it will put you before basically high powered people or people in high positions, because it's a gift that God gave you. So makes me think about Joseph. Even though he was in jail, the story of Joseph in Genesis, he was in jail, but his gift continued over and over again, from when he got sold to slavery to when he was in Potiphar's house to when he went to jail. Over and over again, his gift kept making a space for him. So even though he was a slave, he became the top slave, who was like basically not a slave. He's the second in command there. Everybody does everything. Don't nothing happen without him knowing it. Then he goes to jail for false accusations, and then the same thing happens where he's like the top person. So the gift that God gave him continually made room for him until he got to the space he was. The whole thing was the pipeline to exactly where he was supposed to be until the end. And so specifically because he can interpret dreams, they called him to interpret this dream for the Pharaoh, which made him second in command of the whole Egypt. Now, how you go from being a prisoner to the second in command to the king? That's the only God can do that. That is the gift that you've given, that God has given you, making a space for you. And just like the Bible said, it gave him an audience with somebody in high power. And so I think we only squeeze that into church roles and church responsibilities. But my gift making room for me might not have nothing to do with the church building. It is my gift making room for me in the earth.
That's good.
Not in the building, but like in it. The thing about God is he is creative. We see that. We see all the different people he makes, all the different animals he's made, all the different. And if you start researching all these different things and the intricacies of what they do, even basic stuff like pandas and zebras and like, just anything, vegetation and stuff like that. It's so detailed when people like study them.
How they contribute to the ecosystem.
Like, how do you even know as a beetle to do beetle stuff?
Well, that taking back to Joseph. The part about him that always tripped me out. Yeah. I didn't hear it till later in life. We always hear about Joseph the dreamer. Yeah. But that wasn't even his number one gift. Like the dreaming, while in prison, opened up the door for his number one gift. Yeah. Which was administration.
Was leading. It was organizing. Because he kept on doing it.
He did. That's what he did in Potiphar's house.
That's what he did in Potiphar's house. That's what he did in jail.
That's what he did in jail. That's what he did.
That's kind of what he did as a kid. Because his dad was sending him to give directives to his
But that was his number one gift.
I never thought about that.
Which is, when we think about it, when we're talking about the whole contributing to society, if we look at kingdom, it is way more than the 10, 15 positions that are available in church. There's
no way.
And I think the beautiful thing about what we see in church today is that we're really opening up the door to create spaces for people to operate in those gifts within the ministry. Yeah. Like, watching TC cast that vision for their media house.
Yeah.
Now you got a church that's looking to say, okay, we got people that are skilled in AI and web design and sound engineering and music. So let's create this space, and it's way bigger than somebody just operating the soundboard.
Yeah,
that ain't
just
enough.
doing the thing because there's so much more.
People are gifted in marketing. It opens the door for marketing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
and it
PR.
Don't have to be for just that place. God wants us to infiltrate the world with our giftings.
Come on, yo.
But we try to put it in a glass box and say, "Look what we got.
Yeah.
Come to us." And it's like, if we're supposed to, there's some people that ain't never gonna come into your church building.
Yeah.
And this is what I honestly am just accepting.
Well, COVID pushed that.
Well, COVID pushed it, but I think I needed the freedom to understand.
Yeah.
That there are some people are never going to come to the church, in the church. They won't.
Yeah.
But there are other ways to reach them. Does that does that mean they can't be a disciple because they don't come in the building? Mm-hmm. You know, us learning about like community and community being different. Because I always took the church is community. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's not the only community.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you just said this to me a couple years ago, I'd have been like, blasphemy.
Yeah.
Because I thought this is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But there's so much more. And I'm not talking against going to the house of God. But what I'm talking about is only going to the house of God and thinking that's the only way you'll get community. Some people might not be able to. Do they not get to partake in the community?
I think what you're saying is that the important part for the church community is to not have the mindset of getting people here, but how can we be the reversed infection?
Yeah.
The reversed metastasizing approach of how can we influence the world from our unit. That mindset is completely different.
TC did the campaign for everybody to get baptized. And they taught about baptism, and they're like, any of you can baptize. You can all be baptized. You don't have to come to our building.
And we got baptized in our tub.
Yes.
Yep.
20,000 people or something participated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I may be missing the mark way low.
Yeah.
But the point was they taught it well. They did it on, they taught it just like it would be in a class, like, because you got to understand, everybody can't get there. Everybody won't come to it.
My brain is going so
everybody
many places with this.
But does that mean they can't have God?
Yeah.
They can't have community.
Yeah.
We started to have, when growing up, we thought if you wasn't in the house, you was missing out and blah blah blah. And so whenever God like separated us and for this building season that we're in, I felt so like I'm for sure going to hell now. I felt like I don't have community. So I was so sad. I was grieving and stuff. And I said this in a previous conversation. I thought something was wrong. Like I was like, God couldn't have told us that.
Yeah.
But then God continued to send people who didn't know. I didn't even share it with you how deeply I was feeling it. But God kept sending people to say that it was for a reason. And he even gave me a dream later on that he was going to bring us back in. But there's a season that we are in where we had to learn community differently. And that was part of a prophecy we received, that what we would do was not necessarily going to be inside the church as what you're used to, which in some ways is a relief, because some of the stuff in church was traumatized. That's the best way I could say it, was kind of traumatizing to think of doing it in that way again.
Yeah.
Made me be like, I start turning to the people that didn't want to go back in. Like as God began to free me, and I'm still learning freedom in it. Like the other day I was just in the kitchen breathing. You came around the corner and I was just like, you like, you all right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Because I was realizing that this is my life. and I'm responsible for it. But some of the things that I was holding myself hostage about, I didn't have to. I can live it. I can live my life.
Well, this makes me think of two analogies and a point.
Okay.
The point I'm gonna say first.
Okay.
That being away from, us leaving our church home, and after going through the phase, for you a lot harder than me, but going through that phase of like not feeling a part of community, I actually appreciate the church community more. Yeah. Not that I feel like I gotta be there, but I appreciate it more because I have understanding of what it can be. Yeah. And how powerful and impactful it can be. Yeah. That's the point. Yeah. The two analogies I think of are prison and online university. With prison, people, they're incarcerated. They don't have the ability to come out here and visit any of these churches that we watch, these mega places, or a small church community. Yeah. They might have chapel. Yeah. But they don't have the ability. Yeah. And we see, even take Islam, man. How many people go to jail and convert? They convert based on the experiences that happen there, and then they become what? A disciple of their religion. Yeah. It's the same thing with Christianity. People go to prison and incarcerated, and they're converted based on the information that's presented to them by a celly or something that they may hear on the radio or watch on TV. Transformation happens. They're in a place where they don't have an ability to go visit, and then they become a disciple. What is the purpose of online schooling? I might not have the ability to go and attend Harvard, Yale, Duquesne here in Pittsburgh. Yeah. So now churches, not churches, but now colleges have expanded their reach of their university, of their education to non-traditional students, those that have families and can't live on campus and stuff like that, but are like, I can find some time and go to school online. Yeah. Does that mean that their degrees are not accredited?
That was good.
Come on, man. So instead of universities being tight-fisted with their education, saying no, come here, live on campus, pay tuition, or you can't get the education, they're like, how can we get this information to you? Yeah. It's the same mindset that COVID pushed so many churches out. It forced them because we can't have people here. So there are still a lot of churches today that are suffering, that have never bounced back because they didn't move with the tide. Yeah. And there are others that are like, man,
they are blossoming.
Now we got a technology department. Now we got online ministry. Now we got parking lot.
The pastor said that stretched them.
Yeah, man.
Because they had to learn how to preach without the amens and the without people hyping them up. They had to learn and be confident in what God gave them. Yeah. And the thing that there's a fear I see sometimes with like smaller churches, like if we start doing it this way, people ain't gonna come in. But I saw that was not true in places where the Spirit of God, like it was like where they put all of their stuff into that online. As soon as them churches opened,
people moved.
People literally relocated.
Got their whole family there and moved to
because
the city
where churches
were.
They were like,
absolutely.
Even though I'm watching it online, I want to be there. Yes. And people were moving to where the churches were.
My
everybody was so afraid if we do online, then people are not going to ever come back. But that was so far from the truth, man.
Come on, yo.
These people are relocating in places that people you didn't even think about living before.
That's good, girl. That's good.
And so if we just open our hearts and our minds to this gift that God is giving, and let it make the room, you'll get what you want anyway.
And God,
you get what I'm saying?
God's so multifaceted, and intentional. Because how many years have we been talking about how media has infected and been used, and when Satan's the prince of the airwaves, use the media from radio to TV to the internet to infect the minds of people with junk. Yeah. And that happened. And now what? We are infiltrating the airwaves in so many different ways. So many different ways.
Yeah, there's a great, and people are able to, like, the thing that I think is kind of cool is that you have access, or you can watch famous people and people who would be so far away a little closer now. Yeah. And it's kind of cool. Yeah. it's like beyond like reality TV, which we know is fake.
Because instead of you turning it on at 8 o'clock at night on a certain day of the week, people pulling up their...
Yeah, they're pulling up their thing
going on IG
live.
Live and you watching them walk around
and
their
you're
house.
watching them. And you're like, ooh, snap. You can respond to my name, Beyonce? Not that, you know, but
yeah.
I watched a thing with Regine, Kim Fields. When David A. Arnold passed.
Oh yeah, that was.
And she was calling on people's names and bringing people on. They was able to have a conversation with Kim Fields. Would that ever have happened before? And so I think that this is how we see our gift making room for us is not for a church building, even though it could be. But we can't limit it to everybody saying that. Yeah. If my gift making room for me is some idea or invention that God gave me that belongs in the Senate, then that's where it's supposed to be. Yeah. You can't take that gift and be like, no, just do it in this building. Yeah. I will never have reached my full potential and purpose while I was put on this earth. I'll never be able to answer the problem that God put on here, that God put me here with the answer to solve. Yeah. Because you're trying to box me in and say, it could only be on this church board. It could only be on the worship team. It can only be in this audio and video. Meanwhile, God's like, it's bigger than that.
Because even as I'm operating in that gift, even if the gift is what we may define as secular, the gift itself. And, you know, we talked about the difference between secular, demonic, and what we may label as gospel. Yeah. And so if it's a secular gift or secular thing, it's just not gospel. Yeah. But may not be influenced by the demonic. No. May not be something that actually defies the word of God. And so if I am doing something, I'm operating in an arena like being a politician, which is secular. Yeah.
I'm not secular. Say secular, because when you say secular, it still feels like you're saying sin.
But I'm intentionally doing that because I'm trying to reprogram.
So secular, let's dig into that a little bit, because I think that is something that we learned, because and still to this day, because of just my whole life, secular equals sin.
I've had to say this to reprogram my own thinking about that. The thing is that secular just means it's in and of itself is not kingdom based.
So it's not the good news.
Yeah, it's not gospel. It's not good tidings. Yeah. It's not Bible. And because we are creatives like our creator. Yeah. There are a whole lot of things that we just do on earth. Peter was a fisherman.
Yeah. That's a secular job.
He's a fisherman, bro. So he's not out here, I'm only fishing for the gospel. He's fishing to gather fish for his community and for a profession. Yeah. That's a secular job. Yes. You got Matthew who was a tax collector. It's a secular position. In those times, they actually looked at him as a scum of the earth. Yeah. So the thing about it is it's a secular position, but what God has called us to do is to take this godly lifestyle into this secular workforce. Yeah. And even if what I'm doing isn't gospel,
like
the
pastor,
mindset
apostle, prophetess.
Exactly. God calls us to take his kingdom into these spaces. Yeah. So if I'm a politician, and the narrative about politicians is we're all crooks,
liars and
I go into this space, and even if nobody ever sees what I do, but the people that I'm around, my cohorts, and these other politicians are like, man, that dude's the real deal. Yeah. He demonstrates integrity. Yeah. He advocates for justice and things that are for equality and right standing. And then I can also say that he does not compromise what I know that are biblical teachings in our profession. Yeah. That was what God has called us to do. Yeah. If I'm supposed to be an athlete, and we talked about this type of stuff, I use this analogy all the time, but if I'm supposed to be an athlete, I'm not standing on this football field shouting Bible scriptures. I got to go out here and perform my job. Yeah. But how I carry myself in that post-game interview, what I do in that locker room, what me and my teammates do outside of this game, when I'm inviting them to my home, or whatever the case may be, I should be exemplifying and demonstrating a godly lifestyle and impacting their lives. Yeah. How I am as a husband will impact how these other young athletes come up and see me. Yeah. Will they spoil their wealth because they're watching my lifestyle and I'm blowing money? Or will they see me investing in my children and giving to the community? And then in return, they're doing the same. That's kingdom. Yeah. So that is what we're seeing the church become today.
Yeah, that's good.
And those that are not moving in that direction are losing a large demographic of people, because when we talk about people recognizing real, that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah, because a lot of our generation, there was a big thing, like a lot of our generation was leaving the church. And you can see that God is like strategically placing new generals.
Man, he's reeling people right back in,
and
man.
our generation is actually coming back.
And he's reeling them in a way where now I would believe, I'm not God, but I can imagine, especially when you're dealing with a generation that's unchurched, you got a lot less that you have to reprogram.
Yeah.
Because now you can come in and learn the authentic word of God, and not have to deal with what my boy Jimmy pointed out, which are fence laws.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Sadducees and Pharisees, how in the olden times they set up laws around the old law. So if you go in the Bible in the Old Testament, you had the thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, all those many laws that were given out. But then what they did is they created laws or practices around it to say, just in case you get close to violating this law, let me give you a practice and call it a law.
Yeah.
So let me say, don't eat this. Don't do that. Because I don't want you to get close to violating the original Torah.
Yeah.
We do the same thing today. We say, oh, you got to wear your clothes this way.
Yeah.
You got to do it that way. You got to speak this way. You got to speak in tongues that way.
Yeah.
In order to create or control behavior, which we talk about behavior modification. Let me create these guidelines that say you have to behave this way, just so you don't get close to violating what I may consider to be biblical standards.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, you know what, let me teach you the principles of God and trust that you'll go to God and He'll show you how to practice it.
And if you jack it up, you'll have a relationship with God to go and repent and say, I don't want to do that again, or I won't do that again.
That's real, man.
Versus, Pastor Greg told me that I shouldn't do this, and now it's put on you. That's why I think that this is a part of why we're in this planted season, because we had to learn, especially me, really had to learn for real, like in depth, because I won't say my relationship with God wasn't real. It's been real, but I had to learn how to not always depend on what everybody else was saying was good for me.
That's good.
I had to learn what was not good for me, because I know it wasn't good for me, because the Spirit of God revealed to me that's not good for you.
So that's in spirit and in truth.
Yes. Versus tiptoeing and being nervous, like, should I work on Sundays? Should I do this? Like, let's not even talk about the easy sin. The stuff that everybody like, you're supposed to do that. You like, duh, not that. Let's talk about the stuff like, what about working on Sundays? You know what I mean? What if my kids have football games and they're on Sundays? Stuff like that they are subliminal law things we make as a practice, like it's a rule, it shouldn't be.
Come on, man.
What about dating? What about dating and versus getting married? What about like your stuff like that feels like it should be simple, but it's really not. Because you have people's perspectives. And there was a lady who talked about this, and I think we talked about this the last time we were talking about how God, because we are custom made, and this has been this might be like a Boca conference. I don't know what it's going to be, but I feel very strongly all the time when we're talking about how God custom made us. So there are specific things that are made for me. That's why the Bible will say everything that's good isn't good for you. Because there could be something that you could do that I cannot do that isn't necessarily a sin. But for me, because God said to me, you can't do that. It's a sin for me.
That's where the Samson examples come together. But what do we do as
nobody should cut their hair at all, because
a whole religion of when I were Nazarites, as
everybody is
Americans, I'll never cut my hair because this is what God has called.
And it's like, no, for Samson's gift, for what Samson was called to do, for the answer to the problem that Samson was, he was not allowed to cut his hair. Because of that, that's why that was a rule for him. Does that mean Greg can't cut his hair? No.
Absolutely.
That isn't the custom. That's why we need to be at the Father's feet. We need to be trying to listen or learn what He's saying to us, because there may be things that maybe because of the way I'm made, it's more of a vice for me than you.
Man.
So, for instance, maybe you can't do certain things because there's something in your generation that when this was done generations back, it caused some kind of generational curse in your family. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Mm-hmm. God would know that.
Yeah.
And He would know this one here can't do that.
You can't drink alcohol
because
you got a lineage of winos.
Exactly. And if you start to, even with the whole don't drink to get drunk and all, you can't do none of that. Mm-hmm. Because that'll mess you up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's the stuff that's why we have to say, God, what's good for me? What do you want for me? I have a good friend and we, she's dating and stuff. And she said, God, I give you my dating life. Mm-hmm. So God knows how to help her with what does that mean for her. Mm-hmm. And I love watching her journey because she talks to God about it all, and God reveals and does, He shows her. Yeah. Because she invited Him in that space. Mm. Sometimes we just refuse to invite Him in the space in the first place. Meanwhile, it's like, man, there could be something customized specifically for you. Yeah. That God needs to give you.
This is why
you won't give to Him.
That's why it's important to teach this.
Yeah.
Because it isn't always an intentional people cognitively not allowing God. Yeah. What are some of the things that we deal with? Maybe we think He don't care. Yeah. Maybe we think it's insignificant or too small for Him. I always
thought stuff was it had to be spiritual, or was not important.
Or it's too big.
Yeah. Oh, that's
maybe
another
God don't want to give me, He won't give me that. That's too big.
Yep.
And I thought I'm putting on the parent hat. Because we're talking about this whole thing about how God has created us uniquely. Yeah. And even as a parent, and we always reference our 5 kids, but I'm thinking about how us understanding how each and every one of our children are, we'll give some certain leadways that we won't allow others to have. You know what I mean? Or we will see that, for instance, Greg has a certain gift when we're talking about music or athletics or leadership that we may not see Micah have. Yeah. And we'll see a certain gift that Micah has that Greg doesn't have. Yeah. And so what we do is we present opportunities. Oh, this is good. We present opportunities to them that align with their gift and what we see, we can forecast as their purpose. Absolutely. So how devastating it would be for us to put them all in the same box, not recognize what their giftings are, not give them opportunities that would develop them and help them grow and build their confidence in what and who they are. God looks at us the same way.
Yep, but even deeper because He knows intricately how He created us.
And
it's like you as an inventor.
And it's not just about controlling.
No, it's not. It's like because God wants us to be the best.
Yeah.
So imagine as an inventor, you create this beautiful thing, but the only way that it's going to know exactly what it's supposed to do is if it comes to you as the inventor or follows the instructions that you give it. Or the person who gets it can't work it unless they follow the instruction manual. Otherwise, it'll do this one thing. It might light up. But meanwhile, it's been made to light up, talk to you, move all over the place, smile, whatever. And the person doesn't read the manual, so they only know that you touch this button and it lights up. It won't be able to give its full potential. And a lot of times we put ourselves and other people in boxes to do one thing. Yeah. Because that's all we see. But God as the inventor is like, but I gave him 5 talents. I'm about to and you over stuff. Here, I gave you this one talent. This one's obvious.
I'm about to start some stuff.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm thinking about, we done been in a lot of different places, but it keeps going back to your original topic, which is about church. And I believe there's a reason why God is having us go down this road. Yeah. When we talk about gender roles. Yeah. And how we only have certain roles that we say women have. And one of the first ones we say that's the woman's responsibility is hospitality. So a woman coming into a church can carry all sorts of gifts. Yeah. I ain't even gonna throw any out because there could be so many
stuff that you don't even
gifts that do not fit hospitality. Yeah. But since we think her best spot at
cooking.
least to start off serving in ministry should be serving plates.
Yeah.
When what if it's God's will for her to do something that is more impactful? I'm not going to say better, but has a different level of impact on the operations or the functionality and the effectiveness of this ministry.
Yeah.
And we don't even investigate. We don't even create space. And we ain't talking about having a process of development.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody should just be thrust in anything unless you're recognizing that they're experienced in that gifting, and then the Holy Spirit saying, you know what, let's accelerate this process. But overall, we're talking about creating a space for people to be able to operate in their purpose and gifting, and not following what the norms are. There's so many women that have been stifled, and then I'm talking to all you bum husbands, and I'm hard on men because if nobody says it, it's not it's not something that you even consider. The bum husbands who don't even give their wives the space to be able to operate in those gifts.
Yeah.
And so now they're being stifled at home.
Yep.
You're not even getting the encouragement at home to be like, yo, my girl is dope at this.
Yeah.
She's a beast at this particular thing.
Yeah.
She ain't getting it at home. And then you go to church, the place where we deal with the God factor.
Yeah.
Where we deal with believing that God is giving direction through our leaders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which really is only in part.
Yeah.
It's for a guidance piece, but we're still being led by the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
That part is still significant, but it's not the know-all be-all.
Yeah.
There's still a human element that can have some flaw or doesn't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
But we're not giving that at home, and then they go to church and they're put in this mundane role that doesn't even untap their gifting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
And it becomes a cycle, because then what does it trickle down to? Now, if all of these components aren't operating at full capacity, from the man to the woman, then it doesn't come down to our children getting it. Yeah. And now what? Now the church isn't functioning with all the giftings, and then the community doesn't get it.
Yep.
And so forth and so on.
Yeah. If the woman is only supposed to do this,
come on, man.
And that, and it's like, man, we're really missing.
We could circle that back. Let's just, if our house will be a daggone mess if you don't do what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be a mess. If I felt like I'm supposed to control everything, you're not supposed to be involved in the finances and seeing what the bank accounts look like, or having any say and input on what choices we make for our family.
Yeah.
It just,
the thing that's interesting about us is that a lot of times, blasphemously said, in some way, in some spaces, God will show me things first.
Absolutely.
And doesn't.
There's too many places in the Bible where the wife did see it first.
Yeah.
Even down to the name of a child.
Yeah.
Jesus himself.
Yeah. She but in the older thing, with women, that shouldn't be. So you can't say stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you yourself got a prophecy where he said that to you. He said, listen to your wife, but he said it in a way that was like, is it connects with what God is saying? Listen to what she's saying. And I remember hearing that prophecy, and I was like, woo.
Yeah.
Because at the time, I think I have learned in the past 2 years that I have really seen and recognized in the past 2 years, all this time God be showing me this stuff. And then I say it to you, and then either you don't know or you do, and it's just that was what we were supposed to do. But we didn't. But if I was not allowed to speak, and if it was always only you get the vision, only you lead the house in that way or whatever, there would be things in spaces that we would never have went into, had never seen. There are things that, and I don't know why God did it that way. But even if it's maybe because of the fact of how you're supposed to, talk with men, to say your wife has a space.
I feel like God has given us a template that doesn't violate biblical principles.
Yeah.
I still lead our home.
Yeah.
But there is a healthy understanding of what leadership is.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten into this debate with guys a handful of times about what it means for a man to lead their home.
Yeah.
But the template that we always talk about is looking at our family as a corporation.
Yeah.
And if I'm the CEO and you have a leadership role as well, whether it's VP or CFO or whatever the case may be, we bring our decisions and discussions and ideas to the table. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the day, I may sign my John Hancock off on that choice, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm the one that pitched the idea.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that said, I could disagree with it.
Yeah.
There are times when you have an idea and it's like, I really think we should go with this. And because I trust you, I trust that you hear from God. I trust that you carry wisdom, because sometimes it ain't always a Holy Spirit inkling, but you just have a natural idea based on what your gifting is. And I'm like, you know what? In this moment, I think we... Yeah. And guess what? And because I'm still the leader of our home, I'm willing to take the rap.
Yeah.
I'm willing to take the hit for signing off on that. That's still me leading. You look at it from any natural standpoint. Who's the one that's getting on TV when a corporation comes under some level of indictment? Getting on TV and they're apologizing, they're writing, putting out this PR statement on behalf of such and such organization. This does not represent the character, what's the word they always, the culture of our business. But that's the position that you stand in.
Yeah.
So it's understanding, number one, that our team is effective when everybody has input, everybody has buy-in, everybody has a say.
Yeah.
I'm still commandeering the ship, but that doesn't mean that I'm telling everybody to shut up.
Yeah. Or I think we learned early on that marriage really is teamwork.
Yeah. And back to the comment, I got to use this real quick. Hold that thought. There may be a time, if we're looking at this from a position of driving or commandeering a ship, being a commander of a ship, what if I'm hurt? I might need you to step up and I need you to grab the wheel. Does that mean that that you're out of order?
Yeah.
In this moment when I'm down?
Yeah.
I think not.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people don't. I think that there's curiosity more than there has been in a while, because I keep seeing this type of topic. But I just feel like people don't recognize the amount of teamwork that is needed in any space when you have a president and a vice president. And like, number one, that's so much pressure on the president to make all the decisions alone.
Come on, man.
He's just a person. And so you need boards and second in commands and just this whole thing that we all talk out.
Yeah.
What do we think is the best decision for this? Versus, I'm the man, I make the decisions, and what I say goes, and that's it. And the other side of that is that when you have a good president or leader, you present your things to them and say, this is what I was thinking as far as this thing. And you both look at it, and maybe the president's like, I don't, when you can build a relationship where there's trust there, where just like you said, it's like, well, I trust that he is trying to do the best for blah, blah, blah. But man, I've heard some pastors and just different men say, like, there's decisions, like, I don't move on decisions without my wife. If my wife, he said, the one, Tim Ross, the first pastor I ever heard say this, he said God was telling him something. He said, I know my wife have a relationship with God. I ain't never heard this in my life. I never heard it until this. He said he knew his wife had a relationship with God. And he said, I told God, you're telling me this? She ain't feeling it. You're going to have to tell her. Because I'm not going to do this without her. And guess what God did?
He confirmed it in her spirit.
He told her.
Yep.
And then by the time that he came to her for them to talk about it, she said, oh, God told me that it was either 2 weeks or 2 months ago.
Yeah, and we've been brought up to say, woman, you going to come kicking and screaming.
Yes.
You going to go where I say go. You going to do what I say do.
God told me to say it, do it so. And we have it so mixed up.
Yeah.
If you believe that your wife has a relationship with God, why wouldn't he speak to her? All of a sudden, you marry this woman of God that you just love because she's a powerful woman of God. Now she's stupid and a kid.
I don't think we consider, from a husband's standpoint, and I'm sure at some point, if not in this talk, we'll get into a lot of the stuff that deals with wives. But we've been talking a lot about husbands today.
Yeah.
That what loving our wives like Christ loves the church is.
Oh.
Because if we just look at how we treat our wives, just treating her, and we say, well, does Jesus do this with me? Does he drag me kicking and screaming?
No.
Or does he knock on the heart of my door?
The door of my
heart. Shoot. Does he knock on the door of my heart? Does he whisper those words into my ear, reminding me of his love, reminding me of the decisions or the choices, the things that he's done in my life to prove himself to be faithful?
God says, you can trust me.
Remember when?
Sometimes it's just...
Well, I think about the Philippians.
As you get closer to God, he will remind you that you can trust him.
Absolutely.
And sometimes that's all.
Yeah.
So then it's like, even though I'm afraid, like Jackie Hill Perry said, I understand that God is good. And even when I don't understand where I'm going or what I'm doing, God is gently saying, you can trust me.
Yeah.
You can trust me.
That's been my bread and butter in this season. You can trust me. Is the for me, it's always been, every time we've faced another step of making a choice, whether it was selling our home, moving out here, looking at relocating, buying another vehicle, pursuing different jobs, a podcast topic, whatever the case may be, it's always been, God, when I face that brick wall where I'm like, God, I don't know, is this too big? He takes me back to whatsoever things are, think on these things, whatsoever things are honest or just or good report. He's always reminding me of the stuff that he's done, because he knows how I'm wired. Because
of his track record, you're learning that he can trust you. But y'all, these men have a horrible track record, and then they mad because their wives ain't feeling what they're saying or doing.
Oh man,
I can't trust you.
You
can't tell me I can trust you on this choice because you done jacked us up all these times. Because you on a power trip. And here's the thing about marriage and stuff like that. I heard him say in the podcast, when you're married, it's a mirror. I think, and I feel like that from both sides. Like I learned so much about myself. I was like, ooh, I suck as a person when we first got married. Like, ooh. But in all of that, and that being a mirror and all of that stuff like that, you learn the person. And because they're not God, I can be like, man, my husband, not saying, but let's say you just lost a parent, and I can be like, he's behaving this way or he's making this decision because he just lost a parent. And so I can have compassion, but be gently be like, honey, I don't believe that's that, because we're human beings. We act like the man becomes, the people end up married, and the man all of a sudden is all powerful, all knowing genie and Jesus Christ Jr. And that's not real. They have their own emotions and stuff too. And so I can be like, oh, I think he's on a power trip now. I'm not, you ain't gonna be like, we're going to New Zealand and that's it. And I could know he's going through something in his life. And so that's where you want to have that relationship where he's like, I'm feeling like going to New Zealand, but I'm going to talk with my wife, and then until we come to a thing, God will confirm it with the both of us. Because there's stuff that we can know about the other person that's like, no, I don't believe that this is a God thing. I think he's tripping because he just lost his job. Because I know him and I've been seeing what he's been doing. He's fighting for power or whatever. He wants to feel in control, so he's making this decision. But if you don't give a window for that, and it's like, if what I say goes, I don't care and all of that, you don't even give a window for me to say, honey, I know that you lost your job and you feel like you don't have no control. But this might not be the way. And him to be able to accept in your relationship, oh man, She might be right. Even if you don't want to say it right away, because sometimes we just don't want to say right away that the person's right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have this thing where I gotta make the final decision, I gotta be the one to say, you'll miss it, and you'll be tearing your family apart.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
Having these horrible life experiences, I don't want to be the butt of your mistakes all the time because you're the only one who's allowed to ever have a say and make choices.
Mm-hmm.
And as a woman, I'm a protector of you too, and my children, and our livelihood here in a different way than you.
That's good.
And so you might not think about, we can't, taking the baby to New Zealand, this is how their weather is. This baby's allergic to this type of weather. Maybe this is not exactly the right thing. Or maybe we need to do research first. Maybe we need to find this special need kids a doctor because they have a certain person that they have to go to. No, let's just take them, we'll figure it out. Like, that's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
To just say the sole responsibility of you as a man is to protect your home and not her. I don't believe that, because there's times where I feel like, because of how your love for God, your love for people, your love for our home, your love for family and stuff like that, there's times I feel like I gotta protect you.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a rib, the rib protects the heart and lungs.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times where you might be dealing with something and I feel like I need to protect him. Because he doesn't know. He's not thinking. And even if my protection is in prayer, it's valid.
That's good.
It is a way of being protected.
Mm-hmm.
That's only the man's responsibility. No, it's not only the man's responsibility to protect. I protect my children in a way that you wouldn't think about.
Yeah, because animals get it.
They do. There have been times, and I said this before to a friend of mine, and we talk about it all the time. When our oldest two were younger, they really didn't get sick that often. But there would be times that I would be like, I think we need to go to the ER.
Yep.
And Greg would go, oh, no, they'll be all right, blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, And he would be looking at me like I'm crazy, but I'm like, I'd insist. And he'd be like, all right, because let's go to the thing. He trusts what I'm saying, even if it don't make sense. Mm-hmm. Because, we could mess around and had dead kids in here because you said, no, woman, we ain't going.
Yeah.
And then the kids had pneumonia or some stupid crap and they're dead.
That's a really practical example because we have gotten to...
And every time that I insisted...
The kid got pneumonia.
Somebody had double pneumonia. Somebody had the flu. Somebody had strep and pneumonia. Yeah. Somebody had a double ear infection.
And a nugget from my standpoint. Mm-hmm. As years progressed, I was able to recognize. Because I looked in Jolie's face a handful of times and was like, nah, I'm looking in them eyes. Something ain't right.
Something's wrong.
But I didn't learn that just because the light bulb went off. I learned that because you recognize those things. I paid attention to those signs. And then I start seeing, like, I'll recognize a sty in Asher's eye.
Yeah.
Quick. I think I recognized it last time before you did. Like, look at that boy's eye.
Yeah,
Something up with his eye.
I'm like, I think it's okay. And you're like, no, I don't like it.
Pull his eyelid down.
And boom, there it was. And see, happened because...
We're talking some good stuff today.
You trusted me, though.
This is good. Yeah.
This is that hand in hand. We both protect our home.
Yeah.
We both protect our marriage.
Yeah.
We both protect our children and our livelihood and our things. It ain't just your response. What weight? I feel like it's messed up.
Yeah.
The weight. I can't look at my son and be like, all this weight is his. What's the point of having a helper? Even God called the woman a helper. Mm-hmm. A helper carries the load or whatever. Yeah. They assist you in some way. So what does that mean? We're sharing something together. Mm-hmm. If there's a vision and I'm helping you in some way, whatever my gifting is, I also share a responsibility now. Mm-hmm. It isn't just only you. No.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I see a fire and the fire hydrant is right over here and you don't see it yet, do I be like, well, Holy Greg's supposed to be the protector?
Come on, man.
That's stupid. I'm going to get the fire hydrant before we be dead because Greg could be on the toilet and the fire could go whoosh before Greg could get up to get it, and it won't be nobody's fault but mine because I saw it.
Yeah.
Same way in the spirit, same way with all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You can't just put that on, it's only him. Lies. Mm-hmm. Only him to love. Lies. Mm-hmm. only him to provide. Lies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll be talking forever on this because you know how I feel so strongly about that. It's so I don't know if demoralize is the word, but it really dummies down the role of a woman.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of time, the helpers see first.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time they're on the front line.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably doing more of the work.
Aren't the advisors of a whole lot of these big wigs the first ones to be like, yo, watch your time, pay attention to this, don't say that. They're doing the research to see what demographic they're going to be talking to. Hey, pay attention to this. We're about to travel here. They don't play this. You going over here into, Dubai or some random place. Look, don't drop no trash on the floor.
Is that not sharing the load?
Come on, man. That's good. That's really good. That's really good.
I don't even know what to say.
I don't know where to go. I don't know. This was dope.
Yeah.
I love you, girl.
I love you more.
This is good. I think we might have to go do it after this conversation. It's just a necessity.
Don't get me worked up.
Yeah. This is good. Appreciate y'all having a conversation with us.
Yes.
Man. Peace.
Hey, before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video.